Dramatis Personae of A Midsummer Night's Dream. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. Dramatis Personae.
Theseus, Duke of Athens, played by Mark Smith.
Egeus, father to Hermia, read by John Leader, Bloomington, Illinois.
Lysander, in love with Hermia, read by M.B.
Demetrius, in love with Hermia, read by David O'Connell.
Philostrate, Master of the Revels to Theseus, read by Philippa Jevons, London.
Quince, a carpenter, read by Brian Edwards, Queensland, Australia.
Snug, read by Elizabeth Klett.
The Part of Bottom, read by Simon Taylor.
Francis Flute, read by David Nicol.
Snout, a tinker, read by John Leader, Bloomington, Illinois.
Starveling, a tailor, read by Jessica Miller, Australia.
Hippolyta, Queen of the Amazons, betrothed to Theseus, read by Corey Samuel.
Hermia, daughter to Egeus, in love with Lysander, read by Laurie Ann Walden.
Helena, in love with Demetrius, read by Rosalind Wills of Silver Spring, Maryland.
The Part of Oberon, read by Father Ziley.
The Part of Titania, read by Deborah Irving.
Puck or Robin Goodfellow, performed by Karen Savage.
Peace Blossom, a fairy, read by Larissa Jaworski, Brisbane, Australia.
Cobweb, a fairy, read by Charlene V. Smith.
Moth, read by Alana Jordan, United States.
Mustard Seed, a fairy, read by Jamie Ash Young.
Stage direction, read by Paul Williams. End of Dramatis Personae. Act 1 of A Midsummer Night's Dream. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1. Athens, the Palace of Theseus. Enter Theseus, Hippolyta, Philostrate, and attendants.
Now, fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws on apace. 4 happy days bring in another moon. But, oh, methinks, how slow this old moon wanes! She lingers my desires, like to a step-dame or a dowager long withering out a young man's revenue.
4 days will quickly steep themselves in night. 4 nights will quickly dream away the time. And then the moon, like to a silver bow, new bent in heaven, shall behold the night of our solemnities.
Go, Philostrate, stir up the Athenian youth to merriments, awake the pert and nimble spirit of mirth, turn melancholy forth to funerals. The pale companion is not for our pomp.
Exit Philostrate.
Hippolyta, I wooed thee with my sword, and won thy love, doing thee injuries. But I will wed thee in another key, with pomp, with triumph, and with revelling.
Enter Egeus, Hermia, Lysander, and Demetrius.
Happy be Theseus, our renowned Duke.
Thanks, good Egeus. What's the news with thee?
Full of vexation come I, with complaint against my child, my daughter Hermia. Stand forth, Demetrius. My noble lord, this man hath my consent to marry her. Stand forth, Lysander. And my gracious Duke, this man hath bewitched the bosom of my child. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes, and interchanged love tokens with my child. Thou hast by moonlight at her window sung, with feigning voice, verses of feigning love, and stolen the impression of her fantasy with bracelets of thy hair, rings, gauds, conceits, knacks, trifles, nosegays, sweetmeats, messengers of strong prevailment in unhardened youth. With cunning hast thou filched my daughter's heart, turned her obedience, which is due to me, to stubborn harshness. And, my gracious Duke, be it so she will not here before your grace consent to marry with Demetrius, I beg the ancient privilege of Athens, as she is mine, I may dispose of her, which shall be either to this gentleman or to her death, according to our law, immediately provided in that case.
What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid. To you your father should be as a god, one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are but a form in wax by him imprinted, and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman.
So is Lysander.
In himself he is, but in this kind, wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier.
I would my father looked but with my eyes.
Rather your eyes must with his judgment look.
I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty in such a presence here to plead my thoughts. But I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case, if I refuse to wed Demetrius.
Either to die the death, or to abjure forever the society of men. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires, know of your youth, examine well your blood, whether, if you yield not to your father's choice, you can endure the livery of a nun. For I to be in shady cloister mewed, to live a barren sister all your life, chanting faint hymns to the cold fruitless moon. Thrice blessed they that masters so their blood, to undergo such maiden pilgrimage. But earthlier happy is the rose distilled, than that which withering on the virgin thorn grows, lives, and dies in single blessedness.
So will I grow, so live, so die, my lord, ere I will yield my virgin patent up unto his lordship, whose unwished yoke my soul consents not to give sovereignty.
Take time to pause, and by the next new moon, the sealing day betwixt my love and thee, for everlasting bond of fellowship, upon that day either prepare to die for disobedience to your father's will, or else to wed Demetrius, as he would, or on Diana's altar to protest for aye austerity and single life.
Relent, sweet Hermia, and Lysander, yield thy crazed title to my certain right.
You have her father's love, Demetrius. Let me have Hermia's. Do you marry him?
Scornful Lysander, true, he hath my love, and what is mine my love shall render him. And she is mine, and all my right of her I do estate unto Demetrius.
I am, my lord, as well derived as he, as well possessed. My love is more than his, my fortunes every way as fairly ranked, if not with advantage, as Demetrius. And, which is more than all these boasts can be, I am beloved of beauteous Hermia. Why should not I then prosecute my right? Demetrius, all about to his head, made love to Neater's daughter Helena, and won her soul, and she, sweet lady, dotes, devoutly dotes in idolatry upon this spotted and inconstant man.
I must confess that I have heard so much, and with Demetrius thought to have spoke thereof. But, being over full of self-affairs, my mind did lose it. But Demetrius, come, and come, Egeus, you shall go with me. I have some private schooling for you both. For you, fair Hermia, look you arm yourself, to fit your fancies to your father's will, or else the law of Athens yields you up, which by no means we may extenuate, to death, or to vow of single life. Come, my Hippolyta, what cheer, my love? Demetrius and Egeus, go along. I must employ you in some business against our nuptial, and confer with you of something nearly